back to Live on Bowen. My next guest is the author of the feel-good novel of 2013, The Rosie Project. His novel won last year's Victorian Premier's Unpublished Manuscript Award and went on to be picked up by Text Publishing and is now sold in over 36 countries worldwide. And now he's here to tell us all about it. Please welcome Graham Simpson.
Just give me some kind of sign, girl. Oh, my baby, to show me that you're mine, girl. Oh, yeah.
Graham, thanks so much for joining us.
Greetings.
Greetings. But I particularly like that you've dressed appropriately as an author. Do you have the leather patches on as well?
Well, they're black, so you can't really see them, but yeah.
A little bit racist. What's really fascinating about the Rosie Project is the lead character, Don, is an unusual type of character to have as lead. Would you like to tell us a little bit about Don as a character from the Rosie Project?
Well, he's living the dream. He's 39 years old, he's got a steady job as a professor of genetics, and he's got his life totally organised. He's got the standardised meal system in place. He time-shares meal purchases with jogs to the markets. He's got friends. Two. Yeah, life's all right.
Yes.
Except he doesn't have a partner and he'd like that, yeah.
Right, and so the whole point of the book is he has his wife project.
He does. He's got to find a partner because married men live longer. There's a lot of advantages in having a partner.
Now, it isn't actually said in the novel, but there is some type of sort of like Asperger's slash, social autism connected with Don. Where did you come up with the idea to focus a whole book on a character like that?
Well, I spent about 30 years working in information technology, so...
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're right about what you know.
You just had reams of ideas just to write it down.
I had plenty of characters to draw on, yeah.
So was Don an amalgamation of a couple of characters, or was it one person in particular from...
Look, one good friend inspired him, but then, they say a character's a third someone you know, a third yourself, and a third you make up.
Right.
So... he provided the starting third. There's a little bit of me in there, a little bit of Don Tillman and everyone.
Yeah.
And then I made up some stuff, pulling in from other people I knew and so on, yeah.
Now, like the boldest decision is actually writing from his point of view for the whole novel. And so how did you walk that line of trying not to be like laughing at people with that condition and actually make it, because it's a funny book, it's a hilarious book.
Oh, thanks.
Oh,
yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Everyone should read a copy. But how did you walk that line of not being offensive and actually relating to the character as opposed to making fun of him?
Okay, I guess there's two things in there. One of them is relating to the character, and I made a deliberate decision to write it in first person because so often when someone's a bit unusual or on the autism spectrum, for example, think of Rain Man. We don't relate to Rain Man. We don't know what's going on in his head. We just see him from the outside. We're with Tom Cruise. I mean, it's the same in there's a Canadian film called Snowcake, and Sigourney Weaver plays the Aspergery person. Oh. But we're with Alan Rickman on the outside watching this weird person. I thought we need to get inside the guy's head, and that sort of automatically makes us a lot more sympathetic to him. We've got no choice. We can't watch it. We've got to go with him. The humour thing, I don't know that we're so much laughing at him. I think humour comes, I'm telling you about humour, but humour comes from reversals, from the unexpected. And this is a guy, because he's wired a bit differently, that generates the unexpected. He's not necessarily right, he's not necessarily wrong. Sometimes he is. Yeah. Sometimes he's crazily right, sometimes he's crazily wrong. But he's unexpected all the time. He's doing things differently from what we'd expect, and that's the laughter.
Now, you originally planned to write it as a screenplay, because you were here...
I did. I actually wrote it as a screenplay.
And then what inspired you to change it from a screenplay into a novel?
Money.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on community television. Right. We're rolling in the dough.
No, I mean, seriously, I had a screenplay in place. I'd spent about 5 years on it, and raising money to make a film. I had a producer interested, but raising money is always hard. And I said to her, look, would it help if we wrote it as a novel? And it's a lot easier to get a novel published than it is to get a film up. So I thought, let's get that out there. Yeah. And look, I also wanted to write a novel. It's one of those dreams a lot of people have, and I thought it was beyond me, but I had a plot, I had the characters, I had some dialogue, so I had a hell of a starting point and just went from there, yeah.
Now, so you studied here at RMIT?
Yeah, yeah.
And you had to actually pick a genre to focus on, and you picked romantic comedy.
Well, what happened was the story fell into the genre. I had a story I wanted to tell, and it was a love story, and I realised it wasn't funny, it was a drama, but I realised the shape, when I studied genre with Boris Turbic, I realised the shape was the classic shape of romantic comedy.
Yeah.
All it lacked was being funny. I figured we could add the humour, we could follow the shape, and yeah, it worked out.
Now, so this is your first novel.
This is my first novel, yeah.
And you had publishing companies literally fighting. I heard there was blood, sweat and tears thrown around because they wanted the rights to this. And it's possibly going to become a movie as well. And it's been translated into all these other languages. Look, it just keeps on going.
I love this. This was the Taiwanese edition. See the little wrapper?
Yeah.
That's a margarita voucher.
Oh,
okay?
really?
You buy the book, you get a free margarita.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
In Taipei.
Taipei, I'm coming your way. That rhymed. So, if the movie gets made, have you got any dream cast in mind? Like, who do you see in the roles of Rosie?
Well, I'll tell you, in the role of Rosie, you seen Kerry Mulligan in? Yeah, I mean, for me,
Sally Sparrow. Come on.
She looks like what I imagine Rosie looked like. I think Don's a lot harder, and you either go with, setting the sights up here. You either go with a really good comedic actor like Steve Carell or someone like that, and you sort of reprise 40-year-old virgin. Whatever. Yeah. Or you get someone to act against, you cast them against type. So you get your Leonardo DiCaprio, you name it, your Jude Law. You get an actor who isn't traditionally known for comedy roles.
Oh, so they go for the Oscar buzz, the challenging role.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome. Now, you can follow the actual professor on Twitter. That's really cool. Did you set that up? Like Don Tillman has actually got a Twitter account. You can go right there and follow him. That's really cool. That's an awesome idea. So you can find out what he does for lunch and what he does for breakfast. And
yeah, pictures of his lunch. He wouldn't do that. He's an efficient sort of guy.
He's efficient. Efficiency is love.
Yeah.
And you can get your copy of The Rosie Project. You can purchase it online, and the ebook is on the iTunes, and it's from all good bookstores, even bad bookstores. Just go wherever and pick up a copy. Please put your hands together for Graham Simpson. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, after the break, we hear about Dill's latest dilemmas. You're watching Live on Bowen.
After the break, we arm ourselves with a broom and a snitch and spend an afternoon with the Victorian Quidditch Association. You're watching Live on Bowen.